All right, let's do this. Yo, what's up, everybody? My name is TJ McClellan, broker of Fitness Realty. I've got Zach Everett right next to me. We are going to be talking about interest rates coming down. So, Zach, lead us into it. What are your thoughts about the interest rate stuff?
Well, first and foremost, I know there's a lot of University of Utah fans in here, and I just want to say, go Buckeyes.
Oh, boo!
We can go back a couple of years and
Don't look at that.
remember how the Buckeyes beat the Utes.
True. Was that a Rose Bowl?
Yes, it was the Rose Bowl.
2022?
I think so. And then
Sad days. Although that game was one of the wildest games to watch.
And then the other thing I just want to say to all the Utes fans out there is the Utes have lost to the Big Ten 3 times in a row for the last 3 years. Anyway, we can take that out.
Oh, we're leaving it in.
1, 2, 3, start again. So interest rates. It's been a traumatic year for interest rates because I think back in January, I was talking a decent amount about how the Fed was considering, hey, we're going to do a rollback in March. And then, inflation just kept rising. And, we all felt that as far as gas and groceries, consumable goods and all that stuff. I think it's called the CPI index. And then they just pushed it to June, right? And then I just got tired of talking about it because June rolled around and they're like, yeah, not in the foreseeable future. And
Right.
I got tired of trying to tell people to sell their house and buy a house at 7%. It's just not a good move. So It's exciting news. Jerome Powell met in Jackson Hole, which is in Wyoming. Pretty cool spot to have a conference, if you ask me.
Sure.
And they're just they're talking about changing their monetary policy and hopefully a cut. I think they're looking September 18th. And
that would be nice.
You want to talk about some of the other things with it?
Yeah, I'd say first, though, I want to piggyback on what you said about the previous 7-8 months where we were just like, oh, yeah, interest rates are going to come down. I don't know how many times I said that and put it out there on the internet and just looked like an idiot. I mean, flat out, honestly, a lot of us have just looked that way. And we have nobody to really thank except for the Fed on that. However, they've been, monitoring their monetary policy to hit their numbers. But for those 8 months, it was really fun and exciting to be us. Yay, interest rates are going to come down. And then never mind.
Just kidding.
And we make some fun videos. And then, that doesn't ever happen on that. And then the other thing I think is kind of funny is we did make some prediction videos. And none of those came true, so sorry about that. However, maybe these new prediction videos are going to be better. Interest rates are going to come down. All right, go ahead.
and a sidebar to that, maybe it's due because it's an election year, right? Gas prices have been low. Maybe Jerome Powell wants to keep his job.
Maybe, yeah. I don't know I don't know how all that's going to play out for sure. But I know that you've got some stats. Let's hear some of the stats.
So unemployment, I'm going to have to glance at my phone really quick. You guys can't see my phone. But my lovely wife on my way down here put some stats together for me. So thank you, babe. I appreciate it. So unemployment's been now, it's at 4.3% nationally, which it hasn't been that high, since 2021, October time frame. And economists estimate rate cuts to be September 18th. So I know inflation has slowly been either leveled or slowly degrading itself. I guess degrading is a really weird word to use, but slowly declining, which is good, right? Gas and groceries, eggs, milk, and everything else like that should be getting cheaper here soon, hopefully. And, the caveat to all of that is hopefully, mortgage rates come down sooner or later. I think you locked in one at a high 5, right?
I have not locked one in yet, but one of the lenders that was quoting me was actually quoting 5.25 already.
That's great.
It was really good. I almost actually took it, but I was waiting for something with the 4 on the front of it. So just like most of our buyers, there's a lot of people out there talking about interest rates, and there's a ton of buyers that are like, as soon as I see a 4, something with a 4 on it, they're like, I'm ready to buy. What are your thoughts about that? Do you think that's going to be the catalyst?
So I think, Utah's a funny market. If you're watching this outside of the state of Utah, and I'm sure a lot of other states that experience winters are the same way as Utah, but during the summer months, specifically when school's out, right? Because nobody likes to move kids out of school districts and everything else like that. And
True that.
this state puts a lot of onus, a lot of stank, if you will,
Dang.
on kids and education. And there's a lot of state funding that goes back into. And speaking of that, my wife works for the DNR, and I didn't know this, but a lot of the surplus money that the oil and gas division collects from fines from people that mine oil goes back to a lot of the school districts.
Really?
So if they collect like a
Did not know that.
$50,000 fine, they push it back to the state, and the state will push it to the school districts. So that's pretty cool. But
Oh, that is pretty cool.
moving kids in the middle of summer is the best time to do it because kids are out of school unless they're year round. So I truly think we could be in for like our market. I guess my point was when school starts around the August timeframe, our market just starts to slope down. First snow happens, Thanksgiving, Christmas, we're just dead. But it would be interesting to see, and maybe this is my prediction, if we get interest rates in the 4s right around the holidays, I really think that could ignite like a 180 degree of what our market normally is, where people have all this pinned up equity in their homes, you know, 100, 200, 300, $500,000 equity that they're just sitting on, salivating at the next house. They see a 4, done.
Right. And that I do think that as well. I think that it just might light that up. The interesting thing on that kind of what you kind of highlighted into the flip that could happen. We had one of the most wild Decembers that we've ever had, and it was the year of COVID, or like the first year of COVID. That was one of the most wild Decembers, and I do think that the follow-up December was nearly as crazy. But as you guys know, that was due to all the interest rates being super, super, super low. Now, with this new part, or the interest rates being so high and then coming down to potentially with a 4 on the front of it right around that time frame, I'm just curious to see like how much ignition is there. You know, like how much powder is just chilling and waiting, because I know a lot of my buyers and sellers, they're just sitting on the fence waiting because the interest rates don't make sense for them to move. But at like a 4 with maybe a little buy down in there, it makes a hell of a lot of sense.
Yeah, I agree with you 100%, TJ. I think it's just going to be, I mean, for reference, and I wanted to say this earlier, but I kind of spaced it. You said 5.2, and it kind of reminded me, I purchased my house up in Davis County, Syracuse specifically, at 5.2%. In 2018, I bit onto a 5.2% interest rate. And now seeing kind of full circle back, right? We went from 5.2 all the way down to where we're at now, and then peaked. I shouldn't say down to where we're at now. I'm speaking to my interest rate, right?
Yeah.
And now we're peaked at 7% a couple of months ago, and now we're doing the slow slope. Say that 10 times fast. I dare you.
Say slow slope.
It would be interesting to see everything come back full circle, because I think a 5.2 or 4.9 is, especially if somebody's locked in at a 3.5, is a little bit acceptable. You know, if they've got $200,000 in equity and they're looking at this next move up home or retirement. I know there's a lot of, I don't want to say boomers, but Gen Xers. You're not a Gen Xer, you're a millennial. Just kidding. I'm actually older than TJ, but you couldn't tell.
What? You're not older than me. You're not older than me.
I thought I was.
No, I'm already 40.
Oh.
Victory. Well, let's talk about that kind of. I want to talk about the going full circle, because I know that you've had sellers that are on the fence, right? So they're kind of circling, looking at it, like when is it, or when does it make the right sense, or the right amount of sense to make the move? What do you think that, as you've been closing new buyers, what are the average payments that you've just been seeing, so that you can kind of say, hey, sellers, you know, I know you're about to leave, maybe your cushy $2,200 payment, but what do you think the new average that you've been closing on is?
So I can speak to that specifically. Did a townhouse for one of my clients.